Had to be navigated delicately,
Delicately.
Yeah,
like Scott's penis,
No, you don't gotta be dead. You just beat that shit up. He's got a town on that.
with a truncheon. That's what he's into.
Don't know what a
Make sure
truncheon
you get
is,
his balls
but
too.
sounds good. So don't know what a truncheon is.
Ooh, you don't really?
Yeah.
So you know, like your old classic London English coppers with their black truncheons, like they're basically just clubs.
Oh, billy clubs.
I'm gonna Google Billy Club one
what?
second. Who
What?
calls it a Billy Club?
Yeah, I haven't never
America.
heard that.
That's freedom of speech right
yes,
there.
yeah, Billy Club, but they're called truncheons by real people.
No, it's freedom of speech. Billy club.
Billy Club.
This is like your whole abbreviated English thing.
I don't know what you're talking about. We talk good. All right, so let's keep going. You had asked whether or not she was still carrying the things. I said that one piece of the effigy had fallen out of her hands as she was kind of like a bit of a mess, and then so she still had the pamphlet, the other half, and the necklace piece, and she's being led out by what's his name? Elliot.
Okay, so once she's out, now that we know the names of the others, I propose we continue with the burning and the offering of people to come forth and burn it for amnesty. They would still join you one for the month, but this would give them a chance to come forward of their own will. If they don't, well, we know who they are, and at that point we gave them a chance.
And what happens if they don't come forward?
he would, Valor would look very sort of like uncomfortable and sort of look to Rayron. He knows, but he doesn't want to say it.
Then perhaps we have to think about more permanent methods of punishment. However, I am hopeful that this will not be the case. If we ask the guards to go and prepare a pyre now, in the evening, we can have the ceremony, as it were. Nellie will stand next to you, and she will place her belongings in the fire, optionally, of her own will, publicly in front of the others. I intend to travel down to the crowds below and speak to this Dwayne and some of the others, and explain the subtleties of which gods they should worship and which they should not.
Okay. From this point, you guys don't really need to go into the heavy RP bit. It's pretty simple. You've collected her, you sent her out, so on and so forth. Obviously, Elliot being there had an impact because he suggested certain things to her when he put her out back, and suggested more things to her when he brought her back out, which you guys probably noticed.
MVP.
He has a way with words, right? And so he was a part of this as well. There was a bit more of a discussion that happened beyond this. It doesn't really need to be a big RP. It's just simply Elliot making suggestions once he was kind of informed of what the plan was. Because you guys aren't just doing this second, right? And you see a monumentous thing, so you probably plan it for literally the next night. Give yourselves 30 hours heads up.
She's not free to go.
Of course, I that was understood from the beginning, and that probably was explained by Elliot from the beginning to her. But one of the things that Elliot would suggest is that you guys have that question mark right now, and because he would pose the same question: what would happen if somebody doesn't come forward with the names that you have listed? And then when there's like a pause, he says, "I don't want to know. However, I don't know if it's appropriate for one of you three to be enacting these things. Perhaps something you should be thinking of in the future is a bit of a person that handles these matters for you. A royal enforcer, if you will. Somebody that can handle these matters so it's not directly your hands being made dirty. Any separation you can make from these kind of decisions and the acting out of these decisions is probably better to have between yourselves and the actions, right?" And then just kind of seems uncomfortable with having to give this advice, but understands what he's signed up for and is not a man willing to break his word so easily. And so the next day, you guys pull forward the burning, so on and so forth. Who actually throws the torch into the fire, onto the stuff?
I like to imagine it's already burning, and I guess one would start the fire. The flames of Rogar, and they would throw their belongings into it,
Exactly.
and then come and stand by one.
So you have the flames of Rogar, as you were saying, so it's like burning, and then you guys kind of go up there, and it's a bit of a ceremonious thing. And who throws her stuff into it? Does she throw her own stuff?
She does.
So
She
you have
would-
her throw.
she would
You give a bit of a speech
um,
and so on and so forth. What's up, sir?
Oh, I was actually saying, for the actual speech of the people offering to come forward and dispose of anything they have. I'm not good with wording and speeches myself, but Valorant is. He would give the speech about people being able to come forward and offer what they have willingly, and be given amnesty and learn the way of Rogar.
So for that aspect, that's actually going to be a check, a leadership check done by you guys to accomplish this. Yes, sir.
Enough. I was just saying. I can't remember what I was going to say. It was something interesting in my head. Never mind.
That's fine.
Yeah,
So-
one would have also contributed to Valorant's speech as well. He would have said his own piece, just more or less reinforcing, what Valorant said.
So this is technically a combination of like a loyalty and stability check, is kind of how this works out. So because it's both a combination of loyalty and stability, the way I'm going to do this loyalty or loyalty check is I'm going to have you add those modifiers together and take the average divided by 2.
Oh.
So 15
So I
divided by
can't
2 is a
use
plus 7.
oratory. So I can't use perform.
No,
oratory?
because it's literally, it's not just like a one person speaking thing, right? This is a multifaceted thing. So it's a loyalty stability check. The average of those two is 7.5, so round down 7, right? So you guys are going to be rolling a d20 with that plus 7. I'm actually going to, if you want to be the one to add to this Valorant, the way I was having those checks go was Valorant is, funny enough, you actually act upon economy, which I think is hilarious. But so doesn't Rayrin. So you're welcome to roll that die if you would like. You're asking if you can use a perform oratory to enhance that. Roll me a perform oratory first.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I would say that you give such a fucking amazing delivery of what it is you're asking of your people that you will give yourself an aid. You give yourself a +2 to this check.
Yes.
Technically, to aid somebody, it's a DC. So, quick question. This is a homebrew rule of mine. This is what's good for the goose is good for the gander, so NPCs get this as well. So question of you guys. The way it works when you use an aid another for giving somebody a bonus to AC, a bonus to chance to hit, all that fun shit, is a DC 10. In my games, if you beat a DC 20, you actually give them a +3 instead of a +2. Do you want to do that? So more or less, he's getting a +3 right now. So it's the immediate result, but also future results. If you beat a DC 20, it's a +3. Show of hands?
I'm okay with that.
That's fine with me.
Or yays and nays, that works. So then you're actually giving yourself a +3 on this kingdom check, sir. So it's going to be D20 plus 10 total. And you're welcome to use a luck die.
Oh, come on. I'm using the luck die.
I don't know why you didn't let Neil roll. I was joking with poor Ian and saying, Ian, do you want to come be our kingdom roller? Okay.
What is with I can't?
So you give this chilling speech. It's amazing thing. So on and so
None of
forth.
our important roles are the ones that are going well. It's all the non-important roles.
The result is almost all of them come forward and give out the effigies and so on and so forth. Almost all of them do. However, one name does not. Name is we'll say Chris.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Specifically Christian. Because it's fun to have Christians in a society where there are no Christians.
Right, well.
Wait, you don't think that's funny? I think it's funny.
No.
I think it's funny. You want me to name Buddha instead?
I mean,
Sorry.
Be like this Mohammed here.
I would give Rayon a look of just like, ah, shit.
So it's just one.
Just one person does not do it. I'm gonna do a dude this time, so you stop beating women.
For the record, when the other day when Rayrian went down to the gathering with Dwayne, that went peacefully, calmly. They all like nodded and said, "You're so wise," and dispersed. Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. With a gathering?
Because this is 2 nights after the original meeting. He said he was going to go down and just talk with the people about.
I'm so sorry. And this is about the like Dwayne you were referring to.
Yeah.
Actually, Dwayne, when you literally went down there, do me a favor. It's diplomacy check. And this is just to more or less state what you're trying to state.
Yeah.
Did you go alone?
Yeah, Rayrian would go alone. He would talk to the people, and he would explain, this is why you should worship these people. This is why you shouldn't worship Lady Aravel. Other gods, worship is allowed,
Yep.
but make sure it doesn't get in the way of your worship of the prime deities, as it were.
So I need 2 checks from you. I was going to say that one and also a religion check.
And a religion check.
I hope
Am
you have at
trained?
least 1 rank in it, because you are a chosen of a faith.
I hope I do as well, but I doubt I do. Yeah, I don't.
All right. So you actually have enough understanding of the gods to be able to. I mean, obviously, you know your goddess well enough, even though you were never truly like a big devotee to her. You were, of course, trained.
I'll read books.
Well, also, Winifred Arenda is not exactly the patron deity, but is definitely a deity that's well worshipped over in Malta.
Yeah,
So,
protection, law.
They listen to your words, and you get your point across very, very, very well. I mean, you have to understand, these people, for the most part, were friendly or indifferent in the matter. So you easily are able to convince them of, oh, so it's not any other god. You don't frown upon it. It's just not smiled upon for all these other gods. It's just that when it comes, it's like not frowned upon, not smiled upon. Very, very much. Please do this. No fucking way. And they get that it's literally this one god. And so they have a couple of questions as to why. And none of them really are leaning towards that god anyways. They kind of don't really like it because some of these people that have moved here to Idir did so as a way of escaping Paradel after their own lands were taken and whatnot. So they actually have no qualms with it. They were just concerned, as we've already discussed many times beforehand, whether or not it pertained to other faiths. It does not. Cool. And so it actually goes over very, very well. And you kind of like have this joyfulness and maybe even give it a little bit, feed it some words to Valorant that he uses, using a bit of clarity of no other faith is, it's literally only, and these are the reasons, and there are even testaments of people of your own neighbors, and uses that to get his DC 25 oratory speech. Everybody throws their shit into the fire, comes forward, or leaves, gets it, and comes back and throws it forward. Because maybe they knew that this burning was happening, but weren't convinced until the speech was given. And everybody does it, but one. Now, you guys weren't sitting there and watching and waiting for Chris and Bill and Joe. It was literally Dwayne. It was Dwayne's job to do this. And Dwayne was there with his couple people that report to him, watching for these individuals. And after the ceremony is said and done, he reports to you probably the next morning, not even that evening, unless you wanted it that night. Too sweet.
Yeah, one would want it that night.
So that night, after the pyre is burned low enough that the ceremony is effectively over, he would be coming to you and give you the information of the name. And so then it comes down to back to RP. How do you guys handle the situation?
One suggests to Dwayne, have him brought here in the middle of the night. Try and make as less of a fuss as possible. If you can get him here without anyone else noticing, that would be preferable.
People will know he is missing. I think it might be better to make.
I feel as though something has to be done. But
are your other advisors involved in this or no?
I mean, like Elliot and all them.
All of them.
I'm up for everyone, but
Elliot, Dwayne, and Kithel.
They're the ones that are keeping me in check in that regard. So
I don't think we ever named the current treasurer.
Didn't you name him? He's the club dude.
Yeah, but didn't we name him? I don't remember.
No, but there were a
Is he
load of
in
good
the
names
thing?
in chat, and I picked one out that I liked, but I can't remember.
Treasurer
We didn't.
unnamed. Yes, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't remember which one it was either. Yeah, why don't we have Norga? I don't think you've ever named anybody. Norga, toss me a name in chat. As long as it's not too goofy, we'll grab it.
It's
The club dude.
Norgna.
Oh, Norgna. I think I've always said Norga.
That was it. Edric Howland.
All right, perfect. Never mind.
Oh, that was it.
That's
Yeah.
that's not from
Never
Norgna,
mind.
though.
Yep, never mind, Norga.
Sorry, Norga. You've got me saying it.
That's right. I've always said
Norg.
Norga. I don't think
Norg.
Norg cares. All right,
I
so
care.
or maybe I have noticed Norgna. I think I'm just confusing it with Naga right now because I'm dumb. Continue on. They're all there, correct? Cool. Then you guys say your words back and forth and everything, and then finally someone chimes in. Elliot says, "I think we should extend the same punishment that you were thinking about doing beforehand. A few lashes, monetary punishment, and then send them free." And then there's a snort by Edric. That's dumb. And so Elliot, of course, a little like, why? He's like, you're going to beat them, take their money, and send them on their way? Yeah, they're definitely going to say great things about this kingdom once they go and tell all the details of where your defenses are to everybody else around you. Sounds like a wonderful idea. Hey, listen, I'm just supposed to be here to handle the finances, and if you're adding a couple of coins to the coffers, fine. I'll take the coins. That's fine. I'm just saying, if you beat me and took my shit, you know damn well I'd be going and getting my coin back by selling that information to someone who's going to pay for it.
Did we not beat you, if I remember correctly? And then you brought us shit.
It's a different situation.
Yes, I was lowering the tension in the room. We're talking about possibly executing someone here. It's not exactly a pleasant gathering.
Oh, I didn't know that was an option.
Who's this guy again?
This is the guy that you have a relationship with.
The club.
The club guy that you beat out front of the... Yeah, you guys fought each other and have a
I was
game.
like, I didn't beat him. Like, he hurt me, and I got a couple of good shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You beat on each other.
But I think he was more referring to when he got here, he subserviently went and did like a whole bunch of really hard labor. It was more of like, you know,
Yeah.
we give you your lickings, you know.
I would like to avoid execution if possible, but I unfortunately do see the merits of it.
He has been offered a free pass, as it were.
I think if anything happens, it needs to be public. It needs to be known that we offered them a chance, and they chose not to.
Kithel asks, who would be the one to do such a gruesome deed? Before anybody else, because he's kind of like looking around the room, Elliot, just again being a keen person, chimes in, reiterating what he said beforehand. Steps between one position and the next.
It needs to not be one of us, basically.
And he says that like to you, but lingering at the end on one.
Yeah, I agree that as much as you would like to one, if we do this, I don't believe it should be you.
one looks towards what's his name, Edric, and he says, "Do you like your job as treasurer?"
He shrugs. I came here looking for work and an opportunity. You gave it to me. I know about money because, well, kind of had my hands in, listened in on stuff, but
He says, maybe if another treasurer is found, you might find another job more to your liking, more to your skill set.
he shrugs.
Okay. So for now, you'll stay treasurer until we find a replacement. However, I feel as though you would be good in this task, if that is the way the others wish, and I look to Rayron and Valorant. There is, as you said, 2 options on the table. You know where I stand.
The position you're talking about, Edric filling, for one, it is a position that doesn't revolve around executions. It revolves around meting out justice fairly, equally, lawfully. Respectfully to Edric, I am not familiar with his grasp of law or his willingness to abide by it.
Tell me a rule, I'll follow the rule. I never really questioned much beforehand, before things went sideways.
Very well. It may work. However, Edric may have to work a bit closely to me and Kithel to ensure that justice is meted out appropriately.
He like looks back and forth, and now he's kind of, he's not dumb, but he's not keen either. He's now kind of like realizing that you guys are more or less saying like, oh, you're more like, I'm the handout punishment consistently person, and he's like, oh, I don't think random beatings or nothing like that is something that's going to get the job done. I've seen the way that works. People don't really work out so well. Sometimes they take a whole bunch of your treasure and they leave.
Remember, he is wise.
He's like, besides, exactly what you're talking about. Execution? I'm not saying I'm not willing to get my hands dirty. I am. But I'm also not going to be the one that's, lobbing every head.
Indeed.
Sorry, but, I gotta sleep at night.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Hopefully we'll have very little need for someone such as that.
Yeah, or just hire a piece of shit that's willing to wear a mask.
I should imagine a lot of people are desperate for money nowadays.
Luckily, not us. And he says, like, tossing a wink over at Elliot, who keeps track of the ledger.
Oh,
There was a bit of a chuckle at that. Not everybody chuckled.
This is not
back
a
to the matter.
particularly
Oh.
easy, not a particularly easy decision. Kissel, you are responsible for laws within the city. How do you feel we should adjust punishment for this fellow?
He contemplates a while. Kithel speaks slowly. He thinks quickly, but this is a heavy decision. There's an awkward silence that persists for minutes. I think everybody here respects Kithel enough to allow him his time. Finally, he ends it with, I understand the gravity of the situation, and I understand the way that Chosen of the Blade may wish things to play out. That execution is the most deliverance of the law that one could possibly hand out in this situation. However, perhaps time to think about it, time to see what they're missing out on. Perhaps imprisonment for a period of time, and then an opportunity to make the decision again. They can choose either the blade or forgiveness. I've seen it before in other realms as I've traveled in the past. Some have different names for it. Others call it simply death row. A period of time to contemplate, followed by a last forgiveness. 1 year's punishment, and then a decision. A year can change a man or a woman considerably, sometimes for the better. And then he kind of looks even more stern than he usually does, sometimes for the worse. But whatever decision the Chosen of the Blade makes in a matter that pertains to his faith and the faith that utmost opposes it, I support that decision wholeheartedly and without question, and am willing to do the act if nobody else is willing.
One looks at Cthulhu with like the utmost respect. That for what he just said, like it resonates with one, and he feels a little bit calmer just listening to Cthulhu.
So, a year's hard labor under guard, with the possibility of freedom at the end, or death.
Who would say anything? Nobody would say anything.
The issue is that we want to make sure that we are against any form of slavery. With hard labor, we would make sure they need to be treated well, even if it is hard labor.
Yeah, one would agree with you. He would say imprisonment itself is not slavery, but what you are suggesting. Out of game, Scott, like sentencing someone for a crime and making them like do hard labor. I don't feel like out of game. I don't feel like that is slavery.
Yeah, as long as they're treated well, which is what
Yeah, well, he would be fed. He would have a
Yeah.
place
No,
to
no, no,
stay.
no, no. You're perfectly fine with making people do work while because you have to understand tax dollars are being spent in feeding this person, housing this person, and guarding this person, maintaining the place that they are. It's literally they're compensating for the amount of money that's being spent. I have no problem with that. Within reason.
Yeah.
But if you have him literally out there doing like in the mines and doing backbreaking stuff that's life risking, that's where it's a different conversation. But actually when you guys are kind of having this conversation, Elliot would chime in and say, perhaps not hard labor, perhaps we can have a different thing. If we're looking to expand one's minds, perhaps we should do something that does exactly that, expands their minds. I could certainly use some aid. From his cell, he can transcribe, do some readings. It may even be worthwhile to have him help transcribe things that are written in of the laws, or from time to time of the faith.
Yes, I like this idea.
I'm amenable to that.
Then
However, he should share that responsibility because there is still a lot of work to be done. So sometimes he'll help you, and sometimes he shall help. Can keep constructing and things like that. He should still help.
Better both.
did you guys read chat?
What?
You gotta tell me about.
Sorry.
You monsters! What foul torture is this?
Sorry. So then you guys more or less come to the conclusion that there will be a punishment. The punishment is imprisonment for a year's time to contemplate one's decision. And then in the end, they will get a decision. They'll either renounce the deity forevermore, openly, freely burning their objects. Their objects will be held until that time. Or they will choose to take the lady to the grave with them. And so you guys kind of come to this decision. Elliot says that before the decree is made, it is very important that the word of the law be updated to include such punishments moving forward. He wants to know, will this be the punishment moving forward for those that come in with Lady Aravel Dark Eyes? They will be imprisoned for not renouncing the faith immediately and then be given this decision later on? Or will they be met with the blade? He thinks it's important that at the announcement of this punishment that it's henceforward in the land of...
I think we should leave ourselves some wiggle room, dependent on...
Because... Sorry, especially if, like a cleric of Lady Arabil comes in, they will not be met with the same punishment as, say, a random follower who just happens to stumble across the lands and want to settle or whatever else.
You guys have worked, or I should say, because again, one is very much, I don't fucking deal with laws. I'm going to tell you shit and just do the way I tell you, right? But the other two are much more hands-on. Of course, of the Quill and being a legal jargon person himself, those two know that Elliot will phrase it in such a way that gives you built-in kind of like backdoors and wiggle room. You know what I mean? So there's no concern about that. It's more about
the general. What is the
general rule?
Yeah, I think. Go on.
The general rule would be that the uneducated, the commoners, would be met with an opportunity to educate themselves. However, those who have had sufficient time and higher learning to make this decision, we will respect that with a swift end.
Okay. So
or turn them away at the borders, if possible.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, turn away at the borders is always an option. If somebody comes in and they don't know, then you're like, sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if they come in knowing.
It's not like I come in and just take the right to the guillotine.
Exactly. So cool. So again, just to be clear, the plan moving forward, and maybe you guys want to write this down somewhere for how you want to handle these things because it's important moving forward.
I'm terrible at wording things, so I'll let someone else do that.
So what you're going to do is if they come in, they're uneducated. It's going to be like a depending on the degree, education period or imprisonment education period. But if they know what the fuck they're doing, done.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then when you're dealing with, never mind that, but when you're dealing with specifically paladins, clerics, and inquisitors of the faith, that's something that I think one wants to handle directly as opposed to allowing the law to handle. And the situation plays out. There is a royal decree that is read, so on and so forth, and everything ends up handling extremely well. No, I shouldn't say extremely well. Handled well. We're going to make one more roll of this scenario. I'm actually going to allow you, Jake, to make this roll. This one is less about loyalty and more about stability, and so therefore it is a flat stability roll that you are rolling for me. A flat stability roll. And because of awesome RP between everybody that's happened so far, I am going to give you a +2 for this one. Kudos to everybody. 1d20 plus 13. And as always, you can use your luck points. Would you like to use a luck point on your 21?
Yep.
I love the look on Jake's face when he rolls a 1. He's just like, I fucking hate you, dice.
Even the roll like 8. What a shit roll.
Yeah.
Either way, you guys did roll over well. It goes over very well with your people, so on and so forth. One person is locked up in prison. Others are being forced to educate, and so on and so forth. That all gets resolved with literally every one of them casting aside Lady Aravel Dark Eyes. Not necessarily everybody converting to Vrogar, but everybody casting aside Lady Aravel Dark Eyes. I want you to roll me a check, sir. Sorry. Yep. I need you to roll me a religion check. This is a personal level thing. Not a kingdom
to see
level.
whether any of them show the priestliness required. They just tear off their shirt and punch things.
I need to
They Hulk out.
You're of course
that's
again because I know it's important to you. You're welcome to. Okay. Oh,
There you
beautiful.
You
actually do. You convert. You convert 2 of them to Lady. To Vrogar. However, specifically, with the tier that you got there, you specifically take Nelly, and you convert her to not only being to Vrogar, but you actually convert her to being somebody that wants to espouse the faith of Vrogar. Though not a critical success here, though she does convert to that degree, there is a slight shift in it. She learns that Vrogar is not only known as Vrogar, but there's actually a human representation of Vrogar known as Vrogar Warok. And Vrogar Warok is something that the representation of Vrogar in that situation is slightly different persona, slightly different physical representation, like avatar, so on and so forth. And it's one that she stronger identifies with, being a human herself. She actually turns to being somebody who wishes to espouse the word of Vrogar Warok, and so on and so forth. And you do a full-on turnaround from your blade being to her throat, to her using that same throat to espouse the faith. And you see this, even if it's slightly different from your own, you're not going to be a puritanical Catholic society, are you? And so you...
Especially growing up in that order too, there are both representations represented there. So
exactly.
Something which you're very familiar with.
And so you utilize her, of course, to your end. And she's not like a priest necessarily, but maybe in the future. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how things play out. This is the first real campaign situation. You guys didn't just handle it with simple rolls. It was like 2 hours of RP. I think that's awesome. I had a lot of fun seeing this play out like this. And this is why...
It was an important one, yeah.
It's a very important one.
It was very important, yeah.
Yeah. And for next session, I'm actually doing a secondary role for how things are going to play out in July, because people have jumped up their tier on Patreon. So I'm going to do a secondary role to see how things play out, which also means more goods for you guys. And hopefully something else comes up like this. If you actually look at the chart that I utilized for this, it's a pretty big chart. Currently it's like 36 on there. I'm eventually going to get it to be so it's 102 items on there. But it's always going to weigh heavily towards these yellow options, where it could go this way or that way. You can just ignore it, send an advisor to take care of it, or handle it yourselves. So, cool. All right, I suppose let's kind of take a step back from all this fun stuff and let's get back to the kingdom. Where last we left off, without using the kingdom's months' names, because we're going to delve more into using the correct lore names in the future. For now, you're still sitting in the month of October, having finished what you did. So you've already done, what, 2 kingdom rolls?
2 or
We
3.
did. It was 2 because we wanted to get 3 done, but we didn't because we did a whole bunch of learning how.
1
stuff
shrine,
works.
2 shrine.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. Tesh, could you just do me a favor really quickly? I want to give you the ability to actually augment the kingdom tracker. Really quickly on Discord, just send me your email address.
I can do that.
And I'm going to send you the ability to actually edit. And so right now you're the kingdom person. The
You
paper.
need to edit the kingdom name, by the way.
I didn't edit the kingdom name because you don't have a kingdom name yet. So far, it's just the city name of Kurzfall.
Yeah, we need to.
It's not updated for us, but I assume that's just because it's weird at the moment.
No. It's updated. It says Kurzfall at the tab at the bottom.
No, a tab at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The city's name is Kurzfall.
Yeah, it is. Okay,
Yep,
yeah.
the kingdom name hasn't been named yet. So, did you send that link yet, sir?
Yeah, yes, I did.
And you saw the image as you went in?
No, I just sent it to I just sent it to Neil. I didn't realize Neil had been talking to me. That explains a lot.
Waiting for it.
Sorry.
Okay. And then we're going to do another. Thank you so much, because I want you to be able to keep track of this. So this email address can edit, paste, and all right, hi Tesh, and send it to you, so you can check your email and get that unlocked. So going back into the thing where we left off last time was October, and so now we're going into to month 3. We need to make these checks. Month 3 is going to be a unique one to a small degree. I'm going to be describing something to you. But so as we're going into it, hello, the Tesh tube. So as we're going into it, I did make a quick little cheat sheet of how it is that the kingdom management is supposed to go. Let me change this over here real quick to boom and boom. So let me actually back out my zoom so people can see things just a little bit cleaner. Is that easier for everybody to see? I think so. Change from 50. Oh, this one never works for me. I'm always afraid to do the scrolling wheel thing because it gets all wonky on me. All right, cool. That should be displayed well on Twitch for everybody. And then we're going to show this right here, a quick little cheat sheet that I did show to players. So it's not a perfect thing, but it's a little cheat sheet to help us kind of get through the actual rolling phases that we're going through. So the first thing that we're going to do for the kingdom tracking is, and you, Tesh, on the actual kingdom tracker, what's it called? Google Docs. You see there's a tab called BP calculation.
Yep.
This is where you're going to be keeping track of. Okay. So you can see that the 63 and the -5 are auto put in there. Everything else is going to be what you're checking. So then I'll have one roll the stability check for me, sir. So that is 1d20 plus the kingdom stability roll. Let me just make sure that everything is correct on there for you. You have the leadership,
Are we finally going to get a positive one of these, or are we going to once again go negative?
probably a negative one again.
I believe it's the incoming natty 20.
Oh.
No pressure, Jake.
Let's see how that fails.
What's the
Yeah,
stability?
you called upon it. Now it's natty 1.
So yeah, what is the stability roll? Let's see.
It is plus 11. 1d20 plus 11, and it's against a
Is it not-
DC 24.
Is it not minus unrest?
Oh, minus the unrest is actually factored in if you're looking at the kingdom tracker sheet.
Okay, cool, lovely.
Yep. It wasn't
so just
before, but I
1d20.
fixed the tracker sheet, so. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Cool.
Just 1d20 plus
11. Yes, sir.
There we go.
31 ink.
You just roll absolute garbage. So,
Mhm.
unfortunately, with a DC of 24, you have to roll a D4. You can't even get to the point where... Actually, if you roll a 4, if you roll a luck point and you roll a 4, you'll be able to make it so it's only 1 BP lost as opposed to 1 D4 BP lost. I said BP, I mean unrest, right? Yeah.
If you roll a
What do you-
4,
That's only if you roll a 4. I say let's save the luck point. We might as well just.
All right, let's see
Yeah.
if you roll a 4 now. Roll me a d4, sir.
Mhm.
He rolls a 4.
After all the ones he's been rolling on the pull of luck.
It's going to be an awesome unrest jump.
It's going to cause Jake a lot of unrest as well.
Mm.
Oh no! That's not as bad as it could have been, but it's
Jake's
still not-
unrest just went.
So what happened was, well, we'll explain it all out in a bit, why this played out the way it did. Consumption, you already paid your BP of consumption. And on your kingdom tracker over there, Tesh, just as you get used to it, you can literally see on the stability check, you see how it says, well, I suppose it already jumped up for you. You don't have to worry about that. Never mind. Next is going to be consumption. You already paid that. Roll for magic items. Roll me a D100, somebody.
Sure.
I'm not on the screen. I'm on the sheet.
You're fine.
Sir.
You don't create your kingdom does not create a magic item yet. Unrest check. You don't have to worry about that. Next thing is going to be confirmed leadership roles. Do you want to shift anybody from one leadership role to the other? This is an important thing to note because currently, even though your unrest is growing, you don't have a royal enforcer or anybody else to help reduce that.
Yes, but if we don't have a treasurer, we get like a -4 to economy.
And you can't roll for BP.
Right.
Yeah, so we need to find someone to fill the treasurer role.
Let
soon.
me, because I could fill it. Let me have a look. Kingdom building. Marshal economy decreases by 4 without a marshal.
How do we go about finding someone for that?
Well, you're gonna have to find somebody you trust. NPCs you come across. People have to find their way to your kingdom. Can I give you a little notes that might lift your heart a little? 4 people made character NPCs for Patreon this month.
Oh shit! Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Good.
Good.
but I don't think all of them are advisor positionable.
That's fair.
That's all right. We need
They can
captains
be.
of the guard.
Can be. But... all right, so what's up? Talk to me.
or royal, or like the actual like personal guard sort of thing. Anyway, okay, so
I think we can confirm it as is. We looked at
Yeah.
it, and this is the best we can do.
Okay.
for now,
really.
yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna keep things as they are. Now we're gonna go to you guys are going to pay any claim any hexes. Do you want to claim? You haven't explored the hex next over? You guys had enough time, though you're gonna have to do it without Jake because he's very busy. Would you have explored the next hex, the one that's over by the river?
So this one.
Yeah.
The issue is if we explore that one, we're right next to Rid.
It's okay
if
to
we claim
explore.
that.
Mm-hmm. It's okay to
Yeah.
explore.
But if we were to claim that, it would cause issues. It might be worth exploring and claiming this one, because then we still get access to the river, and then we could deal with the whole Rid situation later once we're more stable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The one that's immediately above Rid is the one that you're looking to claim, right?
So if we do claim it though, it will increase the DC again, right?
You can just explore it first.
Yeah, this is exploring, but we have to, like the issue is if we were going to claim something, I think we need to do this one, not the one just above Rid, because it has issues if it's next to Rid, doesn't it?
There you go.
What's the problem with it being next to Reed?
I think he's just trying to keep a little bit of space.
Yeah,
I think he's just
don't
trying to be a
want
little
Rid to be
smart.
like, hey, they're moving in on us.
Yeah. Yep. So okay, cool. So is everybody you want to explore that way?
I'm asking if that's
Sure.
what they want to do first. Or do you guys want to just go there?
I don't see any reason heading up myself. I mean, what's Reed gonna do? Send 12 grumpy old men at us that don't really care?
We also need to worry about the magic.
But we're just exploring. We're not claiming
That's
it.
good.
Correct.
Let's explore. Okay, let's explore. Yep.
Yeah. So I would vote to explore that one.
I think you're right. They should put it like that. It's a good point.
Awesome. And in the future, you guys can actually explore more than one hex in a month. You actually explore several hexes in a month easily. As long as your characters are actually doing it. We've just been doing a 3-month jump, which is why I've only been doing one at a time. Moving on. Would you like to claim that hex?
Well,
How much does it
Guys,
cost to claim a hex?
It costs 1 PP to claim a hex. It increases your control by 1, increases your population by some, which is nice. But also, this hex also happens to have something of significance. It has a river. A river is terrain that has value to it. So there's things that you can do with a river that you can't do with other, areas.
Like build a fishery, which gives you consumption decreases by 1 BP, not even 2. So just build farms. Why would you ever build?
Because you can do both. You can do both in the same area.
Can you not do farms in the same area?
You can't do 2 farms in the same hex, but you can do a fishery and a farm in the same
Okay,
hex.
cool. Yeah, good.
Okay, I think that would be worth it then.
Yep. As well as there's other things you can do too when you're over by water. Special terrains, things like rivers. River allows travel through your kingdom, facilitating trade and allowing irrigation. Economy increases by 1 for every 4 river hexes claimed, and stability increases by 1 for every such hexes claimed. So it's one of those things where, I don't know if you've ever played Settlers of Catan before, but it's significant.
I have.
Well, okay, so the other thing is we can only do in 1 enhancement for turn. So we're going to get a farm on this one, and then we'll claim this one and prepare it, which is the 1 enhancement. So it would take 3 turns to fully get the use out of it, but I still think it's probably a good idea to
You
do
can
that.
both claim and start preparing it in 1 turn.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We can start preparing it this turn, but we can't put the farm or the fishery on full till like
Correct.
subsequent turn.
Exactly that.
I think while we have the excess BP, I think it's time to do that.
Yeah, so we can prepare this one, correct?
Yeah, if we claim it and prepare it.
But this one here, we can, because we've got a sawmill on our city tile, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
So we can build another sawmill on this tile, correct?
If you wish to do
we
so.
can. It's more expensive to prepare that one is the issue.
Is that not prepared?
No, we've explored it. We've only prepared this one.
Oh, so that one's prepared, and we've got a farm on that one. Okay.
I think it would be a good idea to prepare it though, because we do want to have it. We want to have one continuous thing rather than have separation. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
That claiming that other one though will increase our control DC to where I think we'd have to roll like a 15 or something.
It increases the
Yeah.
control DC, but over time it also decreases. Like, so not this turn, but next turn it also decreases your consumption by a considerable amount.
On the other hand, consumption's not the problem because
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to run out of BP at this rate. We'll literally, before we run out of BP, we're going to run like our cities
Yeah,
will
you're
be
right.
rioting because we haven't made any control DCs.
Okay.
And our like pluses are just getting less and less and less, and we just won't make one now.
So the plan is let's just stick to exploring for now. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yep.
Let's keep pushing forward then, and that's kind of probably going to be your idea moving forward is just exploring and not so much with expanding quite yet.
Until we're stable.
Yep.
I don't see how we can get back to stability here.
How do we control the unrest?
I will explain all that in a second. So moving on, new buildings. You're going to be paying BP for new buildings. I believe you wanted to, this phase, build a 3rd shrine.
Yes.
Okay.
And a farm on this one.
We already had a farm there, didn't we?
No, because we couldn't do the preparation and the farm at the same time.
we
You
do
actually
have a
did.
farm.
You did build a farm there.
Oh,
before.
I thought you couldn't. Okay, I misunderstood.
Yep. You did build a farm. That does mean that during this next month, that literally what the people did was they helped you build the Shrine of Roga. You know what I mean? Is that fun to think of? Oh, how nice. Okay, now you have your 3 shrines. Let me increase the number of shrines you have to 3. Did you also want to build a house? Because, oh, by the way, the last phase 2 and this phase, I found out you can build a house every round for free. Would you have wanted to build 2 more houses?
Yes.
I mean, yes. I
Okay.
think.
Then where would you like them placed on the map? Just click Kurzfall on your little map and tell me where you want them placed.
Wait. How do I?
And a shrine is going to cost 8 BP so far. Tesh, you can throw that on the amount spent for constructing new buildings.
Okay, just a second. So claiming new land, how much do we use? Oh, we didn't do anything.
Correct.
Trying improvements, I don't know yet. Constructing new unit. -8.
Yep. So where do you want those 2 houses, guys?
Things get benefits of being next to houses, right?
Some things can only be built if they cannot be built unless they're next to a house.
Why don't we like chuck a house in that square?
I'm actually not
How
looking.
do I-
So.
How do I switch it over to the other map? I didn't know how to
Bottom,
do
bottom tab on that page. You see it says Curseful.
Yep, Curseful.
Oh, it's on this. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yep. So think of it like an alignment chart. So by the way, the entire grid is called a district. A block is called a block, and an individual square is called a lot. So if you think of it in terms of alignment, like for instance, you have one house currently in neutral evil, and you have the Shrine of the Martyr in chaotic good. What block do you want to build another house in?
Sorry.
You can just see where we click.
I did not see where you clicked. Oh, now I can.
I was saying we could put one here,
Yeah, that'd be
I was
perfect.
looking away. Okay, house there.
and
One more.
do we want to put one here as well, or do we want to save this spot for other buildings?
Let's save the middle just in case.
Okay,
And then whack
so-
one there, I think.
Okay.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then we'll save this spot and this, like these squares, for some like other buildings,
Yeah, yeah.
Tesh,
and then we could maybe. Oh, go on.
go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Like then we can maybe do the in here because I know that has to be next to it. And then we might fill out like one of these with houses if we can't think of anything else to put with them.
Can you do me a favor? Remove 6 more for the building phase. So I think you did the total. What's that? 14 for the building phase.
Okay.
BP that you're spending. Every time you build a house, it removes unrest by 1. So actually reduce your unrest by 2 because you built one last time and one this time, right?
Oh god.
Okay.
I'm not going to touch that. I tried to change the unrest. I'm not going to touch that.
What's the matter there?
I clicked on the unrest and it's got a equation. So where do I actually change it?
I'm not sure where you're clicking.
In the BP calculation.
No, in Kingdom.
Yeah.
So
okay.
and by the way, building your shrine decrease unrest by 1 as well. So actually I'll do it right here. So your 4 goes back down to a 1 because you built the 3 houses.
Whew.
That's good. Can we get onto minus unrest?
No, it can never go negative. And if it goes negative, instead you get +1 BP and stays at 0.
Okay, that's good.
Oh,
Yep.
I like that.
Yep. Okay, so cool. Awesome. We did all that. Yay. Let's continue on. So after you built your new houses, did so on and so forth, now you can do your terrain improvements or preparations. Do you want to prepare that terrain? The one with the lake, the river. I believe you said no, correct? One.
We haven't claimed that yet, though.
How much does it
So
cost
do you
us?
want to?
Oh yeah, we
that's
weren't
right, never
claiming
mind.
it because it
Never
would
mind.
increase our control DC. So
All right,
yeah.
declaring edicts. This is the part where we need to actually spend a moment. So the edicts that you see are a little bit different than maybe what you guys were thinking of them as beforehand, because I had to fix the sheet before. So last time I really need to teach you something important. Okay, so if you actually look at holidays, propaganda, taxation, and recruitment. Okay, holidays, the way it works is literally how many holidays you're going to do. Now it properly mirrors the game, where it's none, bi-weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, or annually. Those are your options. When you do bi-monthly, like it currently is, it has a slight cost to it, and your loyalty and consumption are directly affected by it. So your loyalty increases by doing bi-monthly, but your consumption also increases, right? If you wanted to do something so egregious as, say, bi-weekly, your consumption goes to 8, but your loyalty goes to 4. Is it really worth it? For some people, maybe not you. If you just went down to annually, it's a 1 and 1. But whatever. We're going to stick with bi-monthly. That's what you had. So more or less how often do you have holidays. An important thing to note, if you change this every month, you're going to increase unrest and make people annoyed. So you usually want to settle on something for a while.
Oh.
Okay? Because if every month you're like, we're changing the number of holidays this year. Yeah. All right, the next thing is propaganda. What is propaganda? Propaganda is literally, come people, join our nation. We're awesome. It's like the expansionist mentality. Standard increases consumption by 2, but it also increases stability because you have pride in your nation. Then there's things like token propaganda, which is like you just barely have some leaflets out there. You have aggressive propaganda, increases consumption, also increases stability by a good bit because you're really putting a strong foot forward by your nation, and increases the rate at which people will come to your nation because you're really spreading the word. Here's something important to note. I'm going to put this on expansionist. You notice on the right-hand column, it says something called hex claims. that increases to 2. When you switch to expansionist propaganda, which takes 8 consumption for that month, that means you can actually claim more hexes that month. It's an important thing to note, that when you set the edicts this month, next month you'll be able to claim 2 hexes by doing this. That's an incredible thing, because if you're exploring for a few months but then claiming multiple at a time, that could be a real hardcore land grab. So keep that in mind, okay? Cool. We're going to go back to standard, which is where you were. Taxation, same idea. I fixed whatever crazy shit it was doing beforehand. You currently have normal taxation, which normal taxation hurts your loyalty because people hate taxes, but increases your economy. You can go so high as to a crushing taxes, -8 loyalty but +4 economy, all the way down to minimalistic, which is +1 loyalty but your economy hurts. Okay. I also liked the idea of, though I didn't put this in yet, asking a rule. Before I do this kind of homebrew rule, I wanted to ask your opinion of it. Crushing taxation. I like the idea that, because the way that a different version of this game worked was there was an income divisor, how much you divide the economy roll by when you add it to your economy. I liked the idea that if you went with crushing taxes, you actually divide only by 2 as opposed to by 3. However, when you do minimal taxes, you divide by 4 as opposed to by 3.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the idea of that. How do you feel about it? Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on. And recruitment is something you don't really have to worry about because you're not actually dealing with armies yet. So we're going to skip that rule and continue with the fucking rolling. All right.
But doesn't it increase stability getting an army in?
I think, does it have that factor when you fiddle with it? Let's say you go to warlike. Warlike hurts stability and economy. Normal is balanced. Aggressive hurts stability and economy. Pacifist increases them. Because the idea is you're recruiting people to literally be actively going to war. You're converting people from being citizens and guards to being soldiers being paid money.
We may as well leave it on pacifist then, right? For just the benefits for now.
Sure.
Like, that makes sense to me, right? Because we're not going to have an army.
Recruitment doesn't affect like the recruitment of like guards and stuff.
No, it's soldiers. It's people that are ready to train to go to war.
Yeah.
And if you actually look at, let me go back to normal. And I'm okay if you want to expand this a bit more. If you go to normal, the way that this is again an alternative rules, a different form of rules that actually don't technically exist in the mass combat system, but I like the way that this kind of works. If you set recruitment to normal, as you see, manpower is 10 with an elite being 1. This is kind of like soldiers that are under your belt, easily able to have at any point in time, right? If you change it to say pacifist, it brings elites to 0, manpower 1. So more or less, every month you're only converting, like recruiting, say, 1 person at a time. Which, if you're not looking to expand in an attacky sort of way, cool, do that. Take the economy and stability. You know what? Why don't you do that, please?
I think right now the pacifism will
I think it's a good idea to start that way, and then once we start getting...
Because on our next control DC, bearing in mind it's a 24 DC, we'd have a stability of +13.
Yeah, I think pacifist for now, because we're small enough that if things hit the fan, we have a fighting force that I'd rather not use, but we have a fighting force that is...
Yeah, I mean, well, we can just walk out there and slaughter them.
I was about to say us and some of the advisors are fairly capable in combat.
Yeah, we'll send Elliot down there with a
really
club.
Mass combat can be done a few different ways, and it's usually based off of die rolls made by the leaders of the soldiers. But you guys are still small, so
yeah, I wouldn't want to stay on pacifist for too long, but it's good to be on now while we're still like. We're just forming the thing. We have guards that manage people. We don't have an army.
So
I mean, we're still fully encompassed by the corpse of Idir as well.
While you're announcing edicts, then, which you're welcome to make up to 2 edicts at this stage in your kingdom, I believe. Yep, 2 edict changes. While you're announcing edicts, one of them is you're changing your recruitment from normal to pacifism. Like, we have enough soldiers. We're not looking to expand in a militaristic way. The kingdom appreciates all sorts of people that are willing to sign up to be warriors that fight in the name of our banner. But you don't have a banner yet. But please, we'd rather you focus on your homes, focus on your family, and the infrastructure of the kingdom. That kind of edict goes out. How about propaganda? Do you want to leave that standard, or do you actually want to increase that to aggressive, which actually increases conception by 2, but also stability by 1, getting you to a 14 on your stability check?
Weren't we on a 14 before?
No, you were actually on a with pacifist, normal, and bi-monthly, and this sitting at standard. Sorry, sitting at standard you're at a 13. Because that's why
It's not much.
you said the words 13 before.
Yeah, not much of a difference, is it?
+2 consumption for +1 stability. Up to you. It's a 5% difference.
Standard is my vote.
Okay.
I think standard for now.
Then we move on. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So let's go back to the rest of it.
Say.
Do you guys take any money out of your economy?
What?
Take anything away?
I don't think we have any reason to right now, do we?
Okay.
How much
Yeah,
gold
no.
am I sitting on?
Do you put anything into it?
We have like 1,000 gold, like, and then like a whole bunch of silver between us. Still, we 1,000 gold, 25,000 silver between us.
Do we?
Yeah, that's
like,
what we.
I got like 72 gold.
No, this is what we got from that ship.
Yeah.
So we've got that with us. That's.
Also, I don't know if we'd be able to trade within the kingdom, but we've also got that bowl of gems as well, which we don't have a GP value for.
That you pour into the kingdom to you can actually technically sell items through the kingdom's economy. That's actually something you can do once a turn.
I never looked at what that skull did. Yeah.
You can do that once a turn. You can look sell stuff through the kingdom's economy. You're actually welcome to do that. It just requires an economy check to do so successfully.
I also haven't checked what that staff is now that I leveled up again.
Sure, we'll check that stuff in a minute.
Yep.
So, do you want to sell stuff through your kingdom's economy or no?
If you say we don't have a reason to keep those bowl of gems,
They're just gems.
it's a bowl of gems. Sell them.
Okay,
Yeah.
then you're going to make an economy check to sell through the kingdom's economy. Somebody roll me the economy check, please.
What's
This
the
is going to be
economy
a +14.
D20 plus 14. Roll that.
And it's not against a DC 24.
Plus 14.
It's against different checks, so different DCs. But go ahead.
D20 plus 14 rolls a 1.
Who's rolling?
Oh, yeah. There we
Okay, there it is.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that took a little bit to show up for me.
You successfully sell the gems without having to do much effort. You actually are able to garner for yourselves, assuming you're splitting equally, 400 gold pieces for each other. But as you're working with your treasurer, Edric, to do so, and you're kind of like pulling this stuff out of your pack. What's your name? One to do this. And you're like, oh, we have these things to sell because one was one that actually had the gems, I believe, right?
Yeah.
All right. One of the things he's going to say to you, because I believe you also had some of these, he's going to point at some of the coins that you end up pulling out as you're getting the gems. And he's like, what are those?
The
Oh,
mole
you mean
coins.
the mole coins? I think I have those. The Electrum.
We both have some. We both found some
Oh,
separately.
you found some too. Okay, I have 511 Electrum from Mole Electrum.
He goes,
I have 300 gold mole minted coins and 500 electrum.
Oof.
My
damn.
God.
I might
Yeah, I forgot about these.
be able to do something with those if you want to sell them. The question is, would you want to be adding them to the economy, or would you want me to, like the gems, sell them for your own personal interest?
For the mole coins, I would like the funds personally.
He nods and says, then I'll see if I can reach out to any contacts and see what I can do. And then, more or less, you can't do it this month. Now, last thing, because you're not
Was that
trading,
400 between us or 400 each?
you guys had your own, 400 each, gold.
Ooh.
Now, putting all that shit aside, focusing on finishing up these rolls, gentlemen, could you do me a favor? Roll me that last economy, because you didn't take, you didn't give, you didn't trade, you just worked through them. Roll me one more economy check for how much BP you gain. Too bad you wasted that beautiful roll on that other one.
What? Just the D20 plus 14, yeah?
Yeah, one of the best things to do, actually, is to roll it like this.
I mean,
So it goes like this. It goes 1d20 plus 14 divided by 3. But you actually go with parentheses here. So I think this is the best way to actually type it, if you copy and paste that.
I just need brackets, yeah? Cool. Okay, cool. Divided by 3. Nice.
You rolled absolute garbage again.
Again?
Yeah.
I rolled a 15
You
last
ended up
time.
getting
You as a kingdom.
Talking about all of our kingdom rolls.
So you gain 5 BP. More or less, you paid off your consumption. So,
Fine.
Well, I mean, there are worse fates.
okay. And then could you update the BP in the kingdom, Tesh, based off of what it was that you had spent?
Okay,
Welcome
so
to having an office job, Sim, Tesh.
it should be 49 is the ending BP, because we minus 14, got 5, spent 5, like 5 from consumption, 5 from taxes, minus 14. That's we didn't do anything else. That's right. We didn't claim land. Yep, should be. Oh, what happened?
I'm just updating for you.
Oh, I saw the number change from 49 to 35, and I was like, excuse me?
You're good. All right, cool. So that ends that phase. Now, awesome. The last thing I need to do is roll a D100. This is a /GM roll.
Oh, so we don't get to see it.
Cool. And so nothing happens this there's no events that happens this round, and so there's a 75% chance next time, since there wasn't one this time. All right.
Uh-oh.
Done with the kingdom phase. Last thing I want to say before we take a quick break, and we're gonna have to move these kingdom phases a little bit quicker. So simple ayes and nays, unless it's something you really think you need to lean into for explanation. Simple ayes and nays for kingdom building stuff will make it go a little bit faster. If you guys are all, I want to pull your eyes to a different chart for a second. Go over to here, the settlement chart that I had set up forever ago over here. I don't think you can read what all of these are as of right now, but so there's 4 different little castles in front of you in the top left-hand corner, right? What those castles are representing are the first one's foreign quarter, second one's cathedral, third one's university, fourth one's castle. More or less, you're able to take the Mull ruins, and over the course of the 3 months, you're able to rebuild them to the point where now you can finally choose which one you want to build it towards. Now, because you're working with ruins, it's actually half the cost for you to build into any one of those 4 options. There's going to be a slight factor beyond that, too. You can see what your current treasury is. Foreign quarters is normally a 30, half that being a 15. Cathedral's normally a 58, half that being a 23. 29. University is normally a 78, half that being a lot more. And a castle is normally a 54, half that being a 27. So the reason why you guys have an option over the course of the next month, on top of everything else that you're building, if you would like, you can invest the BP, the time, the effort, and everything to turn your Mull ruins into one of these 4 things as you think is important. I'm going to describe what the 4 of them are, and you can decide. First thing we said was, my apologies, let me just look at them again. There was cathedral, castle, foreign quarters, and university. So cathedrals are sexy, of course. Cathedral, castle, foreign quarters, and
Cathedral's -4 unrest, +1 fame.
but that's one time. That -2 unrest is just the one time of the time that it's built.
Yeah, but it
But if
still
you-
gets +4 stability and loyalty.
Correct. And if you gain unrest at the end of the like during the course of the next turn, that builds at the end of the turn and takes it all away. So loyalty, like you said, +4 stability, +4 unrest, -4, +1 fame. It discounts the first temple or academy that you build. Limit 1 per settlement. Halves consumption increase for promotion edicts, which is important, and has an opportunity to carry lots of magic items, and increases the law of your settlement. Castle, +2 economy, loyalty, and stability, -4 unrest for the first time, +1 fame, decreases town hall and noble villas being created, limit 1 per settlement, +8 to your defense, which is huge. Okay. Cathedral, of course, is meant to be more of a religious thing, right? So just kind of like think of that, of course. And then foreign quarters is an interesting one. Area with many foreigners, as well as shops and services catering to them, so it kind of like pulls people to you. This increases your economy by 3, decreases stability by 1, because you're welcoming foreigners, increases crime and lore and society, increases the value of trade routes, see trade edicts, by 5%. And then lastly, that was the cheapest one, university. I know there's at least one of you that leans towards this. +3 economy and loyalty, +1 fame. Nothing to do with unrest. Discounts tons of options. It's technically an upgrade from academy, but you get to skip over all of those jumps. It's the most expensive. Carries a lot of magic items can be held there. Like a lot of things can be held there. It's a society for higher learning. This is like some serious advanced late game kind of building. But it can be a serious boon to have as an option early on. Cathedral, castle, foreign quarters, university. We're going to take our breaks. Everybody take their pee, think about it, and when we come back, you can make your discussion on screen, okay? We'll see everybody in just a couple of minutes as we finish this phase. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.